Alright everyone, the Mask of Bakris is the all new Revenant exotic plaguing the Crucible right now with its PvP prowess. But what if I told you that it can also be one of the highest DPS exotics out there with a near 300% damage increase and is especially useful for solo players too. So if you want to send the D2 universe into the next Ice Age, you're in the right place. Subscribe if you're new, hit like too, and let's get into it. Mask of Bakris is the new Hunter exotic helmet introduced in Beyond Light, which can be obtained from the Legend or Master Lost sectors. Light Shift is the exotic perk which will convert your dodge into a longer range shift which partially cloaks you as you do it. This is great and it's the reason it's so popular in the Crucible. However, after shifting you can set up multiple damage buffs and debuffs which greatly affect damage output in PvE content especially. First up, you gain a damage increase to arc weapons for 10 seconds. Secondly, if you freeze or slow nearby targets from shifting, you'll gain a 10% buff to all weapons for 10 seconds, which if combined with arc weapons will bump that up to a 20% increase. The only real downside is that whilst Light Shift is active, your dodge ability won't recharge, but it still effectively allows for a buff every 20 seconds or so with a max mobility stat. As we're using Bakris, Stasis Revenant is the subclass of choice, and within this we can bump up the damage output and stack some really crazy buffs. The Winter Shroud aspect will allow our Bakris shift to slow targets for the initial buff, and we'll pair it with the Whisper of Durance fragment which will also increase the duration of the slow effect. The Whisper of Hedrons is the next fragment, and this will give us a further 25% damage boost after freezing a target. This boost, which stacks with Bakris, counts for all combatants, not just the ones that you freeze. The Cold Snap Grenade will allow us to consistently freeze targets with relative ease too, and in PvE its duration wasn't affected by the PvP nerf. The Withering Blade melee attack will also freeze targets too, so make sure to have Gambler's Dodge selected so the Bakris shift will return melee charges when you do this nearby to enemies. Now we're set for the weapons, and so we'll need some top tier arc ones to really bump up the damage. First though, the Aikilos SMG. Any roll will do, but preferably one with Demolitionist so that kills will recharge your Cold Snap grenades. But it will also allow us to make Warmind cells and chuck on the Power of Rasputin mod for an extra 10% damage boost to stack in this build. Now for the real heavy hitters. Heritage will just tear through ultras and bosses on its own, but with the damage buffs here, it's insane. Make sure to add boss spec 2 for even more damage. But lastly, and this is the real nail in the coffin for any boss in the game, Anarchy. The Art Traps perk will boost all DPS, and all you need to do is ping any enemy with 2 traps from this exotic grenade launcher to really see the damage tick. Put all of this together in one smooth brain move with Bakris, then Hedrons and a Warmind cell, 2 Anarchy shots before then going ham with 14 rounds from Heritage, and you'll melt anything. Make sure to keep your mobility stat high with any mobility mods to aid this build, otherwise you just need to double down on both shotgun and grenade ammo finder mods, scavenger mods and reserve mods too. First in last out is a great alternative to Heritage if you don't run the raid, which can also roll with Demolitionist too. Any of your favourite kinetic primaries will then work great here with perks like Rampage and Kill Clip stacking with all the aspects in this build. Anarchy is the real gem here though, and I'd highly recommend grabbing it from the exotic kiosk if you don't have it by using Spoils of Conquest, which can be found from the secret raid chests every week if you don't run the raids. In a fire team, debuffs from a Night Stalker's Tether or Titan Hammer Strike would push it out even further, as well as a Ward of Dawn bubble for maximum DPS. I hope you enjoyed this quick build guide. If you did, then please give it a rating down below and also subscribe if you're new. Please also check out some of my recent builds shown here too, but that's it for this one, so on that and as always, thank you very much for watching and I hope to see you next time.